Iliman Ndiaye is widely regarded as one of the most entertaining players in the Premier League, and that will come as no surprise when you find out that he has completed the second most dribbles in the Premier League this season, and in fact he appears twice in the top 5 most dribbles in a singular game this campaign. But this isn't just flair and dribbling for the sake of it. Ndiaye is incredibly effective. Now, one of the great things about Ndiaye as a footballer is that he is incredibly versatile. Over his career, he has played in so many different forward positions, and for any manager, that is an absolute dream. Having a player that you can move into any position into the attack, depending on the opposition that you are facing. And the reason why you are able to do this is because Ndiaye has mastered 1 versus 1 play. He is just an absolutely fantastic dribbler. He is excellent at manipulating the opposition, and his control of rhythm in attacking situations is absolutely brilliant. Now, a quick glance at Ndiaye's heat map from this campaign so far will tell you that he can play pretty much anywhere in the attack, and he can have an impact and carry a threat no matter where he is on the pitch. And the reason for that is because 1 versus 1 he is absolutely fantastic. And if you think about the modern iteration of the Premier League, we see so many teams playing 1 versus 1. You know, they'll get their winger high in the press, their forwards high in the press. We see 1 versus 1 situations all over the pitch. So for Ndiaye, it doesn't matter where he's playing. He can be wide on the left-hand side, he can be wide on the right, he can play through the middle. As long as he is in a 1 versus 1 situation, a lot of the time he is going to come out on top because he is just such a good 1 versus 1 player. The speed of his footwork is absolutely electric. He is so rapid with the way that he quickly moves the ball. And for opposition defenders, that makes it so difficult to try and get close to him. The second you think you're close, he just quickly knocks the ball the other way and will leave you looking a little bit daft. Something else that's fantastic about Ndiaye is his upper body strength, much stronger than what he initially looks, but he's fantastic at holding off opposition defenders, and this makes him great in tight spaces. So as he receives the ball in this position here, with 3 opposition players around him, it is easy for Ndiaye to wiggle the ball away with quick footwork before showing that upper body strength, keeping the ball away from the opposition. That's why he is so well equipped for the Premier League, because he has quick feet and is really strong. That's pretty much what you need from a winger in this division. But of course, the other thing is scanning. Ndiaye is excellent at sort of assessing where players are coming from. So before the defender even puts the tackle in, Ndiaye already knows that it is coming, allowing him to quickly dance away. Now this leads to Ndiaye being fantastic at creating separation away from a defender. And what I mean by that is getting just half a yard of space away from an opposition defender, but Ndiaye is able, as we've seen already, to do it on every part of the pitch. Look at his progressive carries in the opposition half so far this season. On both the right wing, but also the left wing, you can see that Ndiaye can carry the ball inside the pitch, inside into more attacking positions, or he can move the ball out wide. A player that can go both ways on both sides of the pitch is incredibly unique, which is exactly why I wanted to talk about him today. And it removes any angle bias from his game. Often when we talk about a winger, we think, you know, if you show him inside, he might struggle on his right foot. Or another guy, you might think, if we can force him out wide, he can't really carry a threat over there. But for Ndiaye, he can play both sides of the pitch, and he can threaten inside or outside, no matter where he plays. And that is because he has got almost total ball mastery. He can use every single part of the foot to quickly change direction, and for the opposition, it just makes him impossible to try and mark in a 1 versus 1. The only thing that Ndiaye is probably lacking here is literal pure 1 versus 1 speed, raw power in the way that he moves. Importantly for Ndiaye, this hasn't really proved to be much of a problem up to this moment in his career, because whilst he may not have the pure speed, what he can do is manipulate the rhythm of a game, and particularly manipulate the opposition defender. So he looks much quicker than he actually is at times, and that's because he's clever and very technical. So here, the other night, he receives the ball fairly wide on the left-hand side, he picks the ball up, and it's obvious what he wants to do. He takes the first touch out of his body, and immediately fronts up the nearest defender. You guys that know me will know that I love a winger who picks the ball up and their first touch is towards the hips of the opposition. A player that takes that first touch and goes, I am going to run straight at you. I love a player that can do that. But what really sells it here for Ndiaye is his body language. As he has the ball here, he doesn't look that threatening. The ball isn't that close to the center of his body, so it looks pretty obvious what he's going to do. He's probably going to knock this ball with the outside of his right foot, and he's probably going to move inside the pitch, right? That would make a lot of sense. Which is why, if you look at Kyle Walker over here, he's so calm and relaxed in this particular moment, because Ndiaye's body language isn't showing any aggression in terms of what he's about to do with the ball. But that's why he's so deceptive. It almost causes Walker to sort of lower his boundaries a little bit, but that's when Ndiaye catches him off guard. And I think there is something to be said for a player that can do things in uncomfortable body positions, because it's much harder to predict. We can all anticipate a pass when the ball is set out and then struck over a long distance, but when a player is playing the pass stretched like this, it really catches people off guard. And just look at Kyle Walker, he's not even ready for this pass to be played, so by the time it is, even a player with Walker's pace can actually not even get remotely close to dealing with this situation, all because of Ndiaye's deception. He didn't need to be quick, he just needed to be clever. We've got something similar here, and this is all about changing the stride of the opposition and throwing them off balance and then using that against them. So when Ndiaye picks the ball up wide on the right hand side, this was a loose ball moment. The ball had dropped and Ndiaye was the first one to capitalise, picking the ball up and immediately doing the same thing as before, driving down the middle of the pitch, closer to the opposition goal. And then what he does, about halfway through the carry, is he decides to isolate this poor defender. And I feel sorry for any defender this season that has had to play 1 versus 1 against Ndiaye. Now, first of all, I guess we can see the compact play. Again, you know, operating in tight spaces, lots of bodies around him, but he still does very well. And like I said, he just drives at that defender. And what he's waiting for is the reaction. He's waiting for that defender to bite. If you're a centre-back and you've got a winger running at you, eventually you have to do something. You have to crunch in for a tackle, or you have to go and push him over, or try and show him out wide. And Ndiaye is just waiting for that moment. The second the defender starts to shift his balance, before then really going in aggressive, Ndiaye's won. In this moment, Ndiaye has won, because he has drawn the defender out exactly how he wanted, and then all he needs to quickly do is change direction. Now the defender physically cannot keep up with him. The defender has already made his move before Ndiaye, so now it's in Ndiaye's hands. He is controlling everything now. And then you've got the upper body strength, just absolutely fantastic. There's not many wingers that can come into the Premier League and do that. The strength is brilliant, and then the finish on the so-called weaker left foot, it's really not bad at all. I think what makes Ndiaye even better though, and even more unique as a player, is that he's not selfish. We see so many players that are fantastic at dribbling, granted not many to this level, but they'll become quite selfish. They will become very self-orientated, they will want to dribble every time they get the ball, they want to be the main man, they want to make stuff happen. But Ndiaye isn't like that at all. He's incredibly selfless with the ball, regularly looking to pass to his teammates, and granted a lot of the time he wants the ball back straight afterwards. Ndiaye is fantastic at playing a little 1-2. So giving the ball to an interior player and then making the run off the ball. Again, Ndiaye knows that he doesn't have the raw speed to beat players over the first 20 metres. So again, he will use the manipulation, giving the ball to someone else, drawing defenders out, so that Ndiaye can then go into the space that has been created. All in all, in attacking situations, Ndiaye is so gifted. He can play 1 versus 1 against pretty much anyone in the world, and he's got the intelligence at all times to manipulate the opposition defenders for him to then exploit them. So how about a criticism? He needs more goals and assists. He hasn't really got enough this season, especially when you consider a couple of these goals are penalties. Ndiaye needs to do more in the final third with that last little bit of end product. However, for any team anywhere in the world, including Everton, that wants a winger that is a linking winger, not necessarily someone who hurts teams with pure pace and runs off the ball, but looks after the ball, is creative, combines with teammates, looks after possession in the final third, goes both ways, then Ndiaye is absolutely fantastic. He's been really good for Everton this season on both sides of the pitch, and I'm hoping for his sake it can continue, because he is a great player to watch, one of the most exciting players to watch in the Premier League at this moment in time. So I'm hoping it is never coached out of him. I want to see him continuing to be this aggressive player who takes the ball and hurts people, because in the Premier League that's quite unique at the moment. So yeah, that's why I like Ndiaye. Now I want to pass it over to you guys in the comments. What do you think of him? What makes him good? But also, what does he need to improve? Let me know what you think in the comments. But apart from that, we are now finished for today. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and as always, I'll see you in the next one.